Hi everyone and welcome to our Crowdfund Sport webinar. My name's Grace and I'm part of the coaching team here at Crowdfunder. So today we hope you leave knowing more about crowdfunding as well as Sport England's Return to Play Active Together Fund to help prepare your sport organisation for crowdfunding. At the end of today's session, we will share a link to our online Learn platform, which will give you all of the tools that you need to plan and run a successful crowdfunding campaign. Just a few housekeeping points to go through before we start. We've allowed 30 minutes for today's session, but it might take a little bit longer or a little bit less, depending on how many questions we get. If you do have a question, please pop it in the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. We are currently working remotely, so anything could happen. So our internet might drop out. If it does, please just bear with us. We're going to share a recording of today's session in case you want to go back and replay anything that we go through. And finally, we can't see you. You can see us, but we can't see you, so please don't worry. Today we're going to be hearing from our dedicated crowdfund sport expert, Chloe, as well as someone who has successfully ran a brilliant crowdfunding campaign. So we can find out a little bit more about what works well and what didn't work so well in making their crowdfunder a success. So first of all, I am going to introduce Chloe. Chloe, are you there?
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Great. So I'm going to hand over to you to tell us all about crowdfunding.
Sure. So crowdfunding is a great way to raise both money and awareness for your organisation through engaging with the community. Before you get started, don't worry if you're not too tech savvy. The platform is really simple to use and we're here to help you every step of the way as well. So you'll set up your page on our online platform. You'll then promote it to your crowd or community, and those that want to support you will make a pledge to help you reach your goal. So when you start creating your crowdfunding campaign, it's really important to think about a wide audience. Don't fall into the trap of simply making a page for your club members. They're already the most likely to support you. Likewise, it's not a grant application, so don't just write your campaign page for Sport England. The key to a really strong campaign is to make it engaging for everyone that might land on it, whether they're part of your club already or perhaps just a member of the local community. So I personally would start with adding some nice big bold headings like you can see on this campaign page here. Separate into sections. So the first one could be a little introduction about who your club is and the benefits it has to the local community. So include information about the different teams, the people that are benefiting from your club. Talk about the facilities, perhaps other organisations use them, or maybe the clubhouse is a nice place to grab a beer after work for the whole community. All of this shows the whole community why your club is important. Next up, this sounds a bit obvious, but tell us why you're crowdfunding. For many of you here, that will include the financial effects of the pandemic. It's been a really expensive time for sports clubs, but not everyone knows that. So outline that, explain why it's been expensive, explain why you need to raise that money to really demonstrate that need to raise extra funds for your club. And finally, it's important to talk about how you plan to spend the money that you raise. As a potential supporter, you're far more likely to support a campaign with a pledge if you can see the direct impact that your financial contribution is going to make for that club. Once you've got all that lovely information on there, it's time to make your page a little bit more engaging. And the best way to do that is through images and videos. This will really bring your page to life, add personality, and make it more interesting to look at. So as you can see here, this club has included some nice images throughout the text. So you can use those to demonstrate the points that you're making. If you're crowdfunding to improve some facilities, for example, Show us what they look like now. Sounds a bit strange to say, take a picture of some grotty looking changing rooms, but do, because it really demonstrates the need for that funding. And as for videos, they are the best way to act as an elevator pitch for your campaign. You can summarize the key points of your project. This is who we are, why we're crowdfunding, and how you can help. Not only will this mean that you can get your point across in 1 to 2 minutes, but it also adds loads of personality to your campaign page, and it will make it shareable too. So next up, I want to talk about rewards. So here at Crowdfunder, we are the top rewards-based crowdfunding platform. That means in addition to the standard donations that you'd associate with traditional fundraising, you can also offer something back to your supporters in exchange for a pledge. So rewards are the best way to encourage more and higher pledges, as well as reaching out to a wider audience. So this page just shows some awesome rewards that I've seen over the past year. You can think about those in your club. Perhaps they'd be interested in one-to-one coaching sessions. You could also think about those businesses in the local area. Perhaps they'd be interested in a sponsorship package. But the key to getting some pledges in from the wider community is to offer rewards that are really tempting, whether you're interested in sport or not. So, for example, speak to the local businesses and see if they can donate some products or services to be used as rewards. This page shows a few of those. So we've got some bargain fish and chips from the local fish and chip shop. You've got 2 hours of conversational Greek lessons that was offered by a club member. All of these sorts of rewards can be tempting to someone, even if they have no interest in your sport whatsoever, really maximising your reach beyond your immediate network. Another feature that we have here at Crowdfunder is the multiplier. So this allows people to fundraise on behalf of your campaign. Works really well for sports clubs in particular, whether that's because you've got multiple teams that fancy competing against each other to see which team can raise the most, or maybe you've got some individuals that want to do something special to help you reach your goal. Spencer Lacrosse Club did a great job of this, and they actually had 44 individuals run their own little fundraisers to help them reach their goal, meaning 44 individuals, primarily club members, but it doesn't have to be, did things like sponsored runs and sponsored bike rides, but it could be anything to help them get past their target. So there is extra funding available from the guys over at Sport England. We've got the Return to Play Active Together Fund, which is designed to help sports clubs that have been financially impacted by the pandemic of the last year or two, I suppose it is now. There's up to £7.5 million available from this funding. Each club can receive up to £10,000 or a maximum of 50% of your project target. The amount on offer from Sport England will depend on whether you meet the IMD decile. So those in more affluent areas should expect around 30 to 40%, and those in more deprived areas are more likely to get 50% of your project target. To be eligible, you must be a not-for-profit organisation that brings sport to the community and based in England. So let me show you how that works. So you'll start creating your crowdfunding page. When you're ready, when it's got lots of information on there, you've got images, a video, and some lovely tempting rewards to the whole community, you're ready to apply for extra funding. It's worth noting Sport England will be reviewing your project page, so make sure you've got all that information on there before applying. At which point they will let you know how much they're going to support you with, and you're ready to get started crowdfunding. At the point that you reach 25% of your project target and the required supporter numbers, that's when you'll activate the pledge from Sport England, and it will be visible on your campaign page and count towards your target. I mentioned required supporter numbers there, so that depends on what your target is. If we have a look in the table on this slide, I'll give you an example. If I'm raising £10,000 for my sports club, I can see that I need at least 50 unique supporters in order to activate that pledge. So the pledge is on there and I can keep crowdfunding, and I need to reach my target in order to secure that money. Once you've met 100% of your project target, the funding from Sport England is safe and yours to keep. But you don't need to finish there. If you've still got time left on your crowdfunder, you can add a stretch target to avoid your campaign looking complete and give your crowd a reason to continue supporting you. Now, you guys are all at an advantage here because sport crowdfunds really well. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, by definition, you're a club of people. You've got loads of people to help you with your campaign page, so you can share that workload and you can get as many people involved in promoting your campaign as possible. Secondly, those interested in sport tend to be quite competitive, which makes for a really good crowdfunder project owner as well. So I've worked with loads of different clubs across the platform, from rugby to cricket to more niche sports like speed skating or kendo. Doesn't matter what sport you're practicing, it crowdfunds really well. That's all from me for the time being. Grace, I'm going to hand back to you.
Amazing, Chloe. Thank you so much. So like I mentioned earlier, we have also got someone here today who has already run a successful crowdfunder. So Chris from Manor Park Sports Club raised an impressive £25,642 with 195 supporters. So if you do have any questions for Chris, just pop them in the chat box and we can ask him in the Q&A. So Chris, hello. How are you today?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Yeah, really good, thank you. So first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about your project?
Yeah, we started during lockdown, actually, when everyone's obviously had more time on their hands, and it started a project to redo changing rooms, and they've been like grim since the 80s, but we've never had the money to actually redo them. So we thought it was a good time to sort of band together. A small group of us, like 4 or 5, got together, heard about crowdfunder via another club member and thought, oh wow, it sounds really good. And then heard about the Sports England grant as well, if we raised enough money. So we thought, wow, okay, let's go for it. And it just snowballed from there, really. Just a little naive idea. And then it all came good. Yeah, after a lot of hard work and videos, sourcing raffle prizes, like Chloe said, going to businesses, small businesses around the local area for sponsorship, and to donate prizes for raffles, and then all the club members as well got on board because they're all locked down, obviously, but we had them all on an email database, so we'd email them regularly, like every week, and tell them what we're doing, what the plans are. And when they came back to play sport when lockdown was over, they're all buzzing to get back and play sport, and then they're even they had a project they sort of get their teeth into and help us out.
Amazing. So you just mentioned there briefly about the rewards.
Yeah.
So how did you go about sourcing them?
We sort of divided it up. I think there's about 6 of us in a small group, and we divided, who's going to go approach what business or what person. So really well connected people are good to get on board if you're getting a little group of you together. And that's what we did. We knew the members who had businesses who we could approach. We knew people, who deal with lots of other businesses who, had contacts already. I don't think we went in sort of cold calling businesses. We always approached people we knew, or, a contact of a contact. So we had a better chance. We didn't want to waste our time, really. So that was our plan of action for that.
Great. Did you like email people, or were you
some phone calls, some at the time, obviously there's no face-to-face action because it was lockdown. So that was one bit of a stump. But to get the initial rewards and stuff, most of it was phone calls or emails or even text messages. And we did a platinum donor, which didn't give them anything really, apart from we just tried to get £1,000 off, sort of targeted. Sounds a bit rude, but like the richer members of the club who could spare a few quid. And surprisingly enough, most of them were all keen to help out.
Okay, great. I think a lot of projects definitely find that as when they start asking people and start talking about it, it's often surprising how many people want to get involved and want to help out. So what did you find the most difficult about crowdfunding?
The difficult, I think the initial reaction from members is you've got no chance of raising this money. So we had to hurdle that one quite quickly. But I think our main plan was to get a bunch of money in the actual pot, so to speak, before we went live to masses. So I think when we went live, we had about £7,000 from like sponsorship we sold to businesses and some of these platinum members. So the initial were like, oh, you've got no chance of doing it. As soon as we went live and we went, oh my God, you've raised £7,000 already. And we're like, yeah, we can do this. You know, if we get Sports England grant, we're halfway there already. So yeah, that was probably the difficult bit. And Sports England, you have to do certain things to be eligible for a grant. So that was quite nervy at times because I know they were like, they made us change the pages quite a few times to word it correctly. But they're really supportive and helpful. They weren't like, oh no, you've done it wrong, you're out. It's like they said, no, this is how to improve it. So they were really good and really helpful as well.
Amazing. And what did you think went particularly well and what worked best with your crowdfunder?
I'd say just getting the whole place buzzing about it and talking about it once they all came back, and just keep reinforcing it every time. We'd have our peaks and troughs with the donations, and when it go up and it would, okay, steady down, let's get some more prizes on there, let's email them all again, and look how much we've raised now. We're getting there. And the closer we got, we found it the easier to get over the line. It was just, I think it's the initial, big buzz for the first week, and then, it's gone really quiet. But I think that happens in most, quite a lot of the projects.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most projects will go through that element of having lots of pledges come in at the start and then at the end, and then it's the idea that you need to keep the momentum going. Do you have tips on maybe anything that you did that worked with ticking it over and getting more pledges?
Yeah. Well, we've got our changing room video. We sort of highlighted how bad the showers were, etc. And we had one of the more popular members sort of shower getting watered with a watering can, and we go, right, if we raise £2,000 more, he'll come and do it on court in front of everyone, at the end of the tennis club finals. And so we got that rocketed up actually. So that went, just get people engaged, and people generally find that something good to get on board with.
Absolutely. And so your video was amazing, and full of lots of personality. You've got your sense of humor across. Chloe mentioned it's one of her favorite videos that she's worked with on Crowdfunder. Do you have any advice for people who are a bit nervous about getting in front of the camera and putting something together?
No, just go for it. I mean, most of the stuff we use on the actual footage was outtakes where they're not even talking what they should have been talking, just a bit of fun banter, like a couple of people laughing, or that sort of thing. And we had a really good presenter who's she's a drama teacher, so she was great. And I think everyone, we've got a lot of members. We've got 700 members, I think. So we had a lot of scope to choose. You'll be great on camera, and So we were lucky in that regard, but a lot of people wanted to be on it. A few people didn't, but a lot of people did.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to get a range of faces in front of the camera, and getting essentially, as long as you've got your passion and your enthusiasm across for what you're crowdfunding for, that will come across to the people watching it. So yeah, I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we did I think the youngest on the video was about 7 and the oldest was about 87. So we tried to get a good range of ages and so forth on there.
Absolutely. And we've shared the link to your project in the comments so people can have a look at your video if they want to. So other than the financial benefits of crowdfunding, what would you say are the other benefits?
I think it really brought everyone together, in a common goal. So everyone was, absolutely everyone was like, this is a great idea. We all want it done. And brought people together. We had a good community spirit beforehand, and it's probably, reinforced that and made it even better now as well. So it's made the actual club a stronger unit as well, which is always good.
Yeah, that's really lovely to hear. And then if you had if you had one piece of advice for people who are about to crowdfund, what would that be?
Get a good team together. People, it is hard work, no doubt about it. But the harder you work, the more money you'll raise. And don't be shy. Don't be shy to ask people for money. Just basically, I'm not a salesman. I've never been a salesman, and I found myself, because we all wanted it so bad, it would really push people into buying everything and make rewards. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I would say is, I've seen lots of projects, I've studied a lot of projects, and I did notice a lot of people they get their rewards, but it's not making 100% profit. So they're saying, buy 20 pints in the bar in advance. It's sort of like a fancy loan that way. So I'd always try to get everything you have as reward, or the majority, have no expenses, get as much as you can donated for free.
Yeah. That's really, really good advice. Thank you so much. And so we're going to have some questions from the audience. So I'm going to invite Chloe back for these.
Hello.
So we've got number one question for Chloe. Is from Annie. Is there extra money from Sport England if we've already received 2 lots of match funding totaling 10,000?
Yes, you can crowdfund again and access Sport England's extra funding. Be aware of how recently you crowdfunded last time. You want to give it a little bit of a break. You don't want to cause too much fatigue for your crowd. But yes, please do come back, access more extra funding. There's no limit to how many times you can access it.
Amazing. For Chris, did you do much on your social media to promote the campaign?
Yeah, we did lots on Facebook and on Insta as well. So I wouldn't say we actually used emailing club members more than social media, but we definitely used quite a lot on social media as well, and put pictures of the prizes up. It was more for thing like the rewards, which the general public would be interested in. Like we had a raffle with the first prize in a stunt plane. Don't know why I'm doing that, but with an ex-stunt pilot, and that seemed to appeal loads to people who had nothing to do with the club. So we sold loads of tickets to the general public like that. So, but yeah, no, social media definitely worked well for us.
I often encourage project owners to join the local community groups on Facebook. So there's always this local community group full of people in your area that want to know what's going on. Rewards like this that are targeted to that, wider network are really popular on platforms like that. It's a great place to engage with loads of people in the area who may well want to grab one of those local bargains.
And speaking of rewards, Chris, did you have any? What was your most popular reward that you offered?
I'll have to look up to my computer. I think the raffle. I think the raffle. We raised. We sold them for £10 a ticket, but we raised £2,000 through that. The little prizes were great, and it kept things ticking away. But we went big. We went big on a lot of them, and the platinum donors. I mean, I think we raised £7,000. No, £5,000 from platinum donors, and for sponsorship to businesses, we raised £3,000 as well. But the little one. The other good one we did, just looking at it, was buy a brick, which we just done a plaque for everyone who donated £50, and I think we've got 32 people did that. So that was £1,600 as well. So that was always a good one.
Amazing. Chloe, do you have any other favourite projects for people to look at that you might want to share?
I don't know if I'm allowed to have favourites. So if you go onto the Active Together Fund page, you'll see all the projects that have been supported by Sport England. All of them are brilliant. I think there is nothing better than to get started by looking at other project pages, even look at the ones that maybe aren't so successful, to think, why hasn't this worked? And, look at the ones that have been successful and think to yourself, what's good about this project? Why have they managed to engage with 100 people of their community? It's a really, really good exercise, and pay attention to their video or the rewards, the layout of the page. Is it engaging, or is it a bit overwhelming, or maybe they've not got enough information on there? It's a brilliant exercise to help you perfect your own page.
And we have in the Learn platform, there's also lots of tips on what makes a really effective crowdfunder. So another question for you, Chloe. Do you have to stick to a specific crowdfunding platform?
Yes. Crowdfunder.co.uk is our platform. That's where you can access the extra funding from Sport England. So you will need to crowdfund with us in order to access that money, and of course all of our support.
Amazing. So I think that's most of the questions now. Just one more for Chris. Would you do it again? Would you crowdfund again?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely. Not right now, but I'd have a break. It's
have a break.
No, we loved it. Actually, loved it for so many different reasons, and we got the new changing rooms got finished about 2 months ago, and when you walk in and see the final project actually, physically there, it's like, wow, we did that. So it's really proud moment, and a great way to raise money. And like I said, brings everyone together in your club or sports club you got. So I definitely would. Brilliant.
Amazing. I'm sure you have inspired lots of people today to crowdfund. Thank you so much for sharing all of your really helpful tips and your advice. So if people do want to crowdfund, Chloe, what are the next steps?
So next steps, do your research. We've got loads of resources available. You've already joined one of our webinars, which is great. Join our online learning platform. So this will take you through all the steps of planning, creating and running a successful campaign, full of lots of quizzes and videos to help you make the most of it. And do check out some of those other pages as well. And we've got a guide available for you too. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to contact me directly on chloe@crowdfunder.co.uk.
I have actually just seen one more question, which I think would be a really useful one to go through quickly. So Andrew has asked, if I need to raise £2,000 in total, 1,000 from the crowd and 1,000 in match funding, is the 25% initial target to get the support the 25% of the 1,000 or the overall target of 2,000?
The overall target, yeah. So when you reach £500 on your project target, that's when the Sport England pledge will be made onto your campaign.
Perfect, thank you so much. So thank you, Chloe, for teaching us all about crowdfunding today. And thank you so much as well to Chris for joining us, and thank you to everyone who has tuned in to watch. Good luck with your crowdfunders. We can't wait to see you raising lots of money on the platform.
Thanks, everyone. And just to play us out, I know we've run over a little bit, but let's play Chris's video just to see it as we go. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Hi, and welcome to our wonderful club, Manor Park, which we all love to bits. People have been playing sports here since 1907, so there isn't a lot that we don't know or have seen.
The club has been desperate to update and revamp our changing rooms for some time now. Not much has really changed in there for over 25 years. While thinking of ways to fund this amazing idea, we have turned to a crowdfunding project as the only way to achieve our dreams of building some modern changing rooms.
And me? I love it all.
I love it!
Not even that competitive, are we? Nah.
Manor Park, great place for all the family to play tennis. You need to think about his Crowdfunding. I love Manor Park!
Our crowdfunding page is now open with a whole host of rewards, so please take a look. There are some absolutely stunning items to choose from.
If successful, we can build a much needed modern set of changing rooms and toilets for the club to enjoy for many years to come.